So how long was your first stint when you started in '72?
It lasted through the 70s, and as the first full year on tour for me, 73, progressed, I started, after Mike Wynn kind of didn't make it for me, I was set up with Gibby Gilbert. And up until that point, Scott, I had never been paid a weekly salary. A lot of the caddies were on a daily salary. So
would the players pay daily?
Well, they'd pay at the end of the week, whenever the end of the week was.
Right.
If it was Friday and they missed the ut, you got your $60 because you worked Tuesday, you worked Thursday, you worked Friday. Usually you had Wednesday off because if they weren't in the Pro-Am,
they weren't going to pay to come and hang out.
No, no, absolutely not. They were paying for range balls back then. They didn't need a caddy to hit range balls. We were off playing our own game.
Yeah,
sure. So, but yeah, $60 if you missed the cut, $100 if you made it, plus 3% of, boy, back then a top 10 might have been $5,000. So a big week was $350. Wow. You know?
Unbelievable.
So, and I just remember times in that year. One week I worked for John Lister, an Australian, at the Charlotte tournament when it was back at where we're at now, Quail Hollow, when it was the old Kemper tournament. Well, John had a really good week that week, and he finished, I think, 6th, and I made a really nice check, you know, close to $600–700. Lo and behold, that Sunday night, I'm leaving town, and my van breaks down, and I was able to get towed to a Dodge dealer, sleep in the parking lot, and the next morning most of that paycheck went into a new alternator and some other things that helped me get out of Dodge.
And to the next tournament.
To the next tournament. So anyway, those stories. And then as that year progressed, as I was about to say, I got back to Robinson, of all places. And I'm working for Steve Melnick for 3 weeks because Steve's caddy had gone home to take a vacation and see some family. I think there was a wedding or whatever, and he gave me his bag, Steve Melnick, for 3 weeks. Well, at Robinson, Steve went into the locker room after a round, and he came back out, and he goes, "Hey, I was just talking to David Graham in the locker room, and he's looking for a new caddy. Are you interested?" I said, "Absolutely, I'm interested." I knew, you know, I heard of David.
I recognize the name of it. Was he a good player?
Sure. Well, he'd already won a tournament in Cleveland the year before, and he had won the World Cup with Bruce Devlin, and he was kind of being mentored by Bruce Devlin to make the U.S. Tour his home. So we chatted that afternoon. He sought me out and he said, "Stuyven, I'm not going to play for another couple of weeks. Would you meet me in Hartford?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll start you in Hartford. We'll go there." And so I had a couple other jobs lined up. Bob Wynn, as a matter of fact. I worked for Bob Wynn. Got to meet Kenny Harrelson, our announcer for the White Sox.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, you're a big White Sox fan.
Well, Bob Wynn, you know that. All about the White Sox. And Bob was nicknamed the Hawk because of his nose. Well, we all know Kenny Harrelson is the Hawk.
Okay.
That particular year, Kenny was being given quite a few sponsor exemptions to play because his baseball career was over and he was trying to cultivate his golf career.
Wow.
So he seeks out Bob Wynn just at the time I started working a few weeks for Bob. And they started playing practice rounds together. So
you're loving it.
The baseball Hawk is meeting the golf Hawk. I'm right in it. I'm talking baseball with Hawk Harrelson, and lo and behold, he becomes, you know, the White Sox announcer years later, and we've had that friendship ever since.
Is he still an announcer for the White Sox?
Yes, he is. He's the color play-by-play man, and he's been there for 20-odd years, 25 years.
So he does the TV thing.
Does the TV thing,
because Dan's buddy does the radio.
Farmer does Eddie does the radio play-by-play.
Okay. Okay. Do you ever go to games and sit with them during a telecast?
Oh, absolutely. It's yeah, but you have to be quiet in the booth. It's kind of hard.
Like Dan does that too with Farmer.
Dan gets. Danny the Punk, he gets everything lined up, and he's really introduced me to a lot of nice people among the White Sox front office and the team.
He knew a couple of players and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
But so the David Graham thing started in Hartford in I think now we're in late summer, and it was the Sammy Davis 1973. First tee shot I ever saw David Graham hit. First hole at Weatherfield Country Club. 3-wood off the tee, dead right into a grove of trees, and I think it dropped down. I can't say that it did. It might have stayed in the tree because we never found that ball. There were 10 people, a marshal or two, never found the ball. So he kind of gave me a shot right off the bat that he goes, Well, your eyes aren't very good.
Oh, boy.
You know, about finding these golf balls, Stephen. I hope it gets better. And I go, yeah, I hope your right side 3-wood gets a little better too, and we can make a go of this. Double bogey the first hole. I think we missed the cut,
Wow.
but we lasted 7 good years together.
Wow,
I
great.
watched him win tournaments on 3 different continents. He finished 7th on our money list in 1976. He won in Akron. He won in New York. We finished 4th at the PGA that Dave Stockton won. He had a great year, and I was just loving being his caddy, and he actually taught me how to be perfect, which we can't be, but David was such a perfectionist, he wanted his caddy to be. And by doing so, by always being on me, he taught me so much about the game and how to caddy properly that I always look back as David being the mentor in my life and my boss. And you know, as we grew together and I got to watch him win, he and Maureen were having their 2 boys in that time frame and throughout the 70s. And you know, I watched his family grow and I watched him become a world-class player. It was kind of fun. Yeah.